So welcome to your third tutorial on JavaScript. In this tutorial, we'll look through the rules for naming your identifiers or variables in JavaScript. Let's take this out and say that this is var. In JavaScript, when you want to declare a variable, you use the var keyword, or you use no keyword at all. You just name the variable. We'll get to that. So let's say that this is var yield is equal to 5, and we have var Dale is equals to 2. We're just naming two funny names, and then right here, if we say Dale and say Yale, what should we have? 7. If we print this, we should have 7. All right, so it explains what is going on here. We just assign this guy to a variable, assign this guy to a variable, and we print. All right. So, but there is a rule for actually naming these variables. I'll paste the rule here. And here are the rules for naming variables in JavaScript. And the first one is the name can contain letters, digits, underscores, and dollar signs. As you can see, there is no hyphen here. There is no hyphen. So JavaScript always sees hyphens as minus signs and pluses as concatenations of pluses. So you can't just have this. You can't just name a variable like this. It's disastrous in JavaScript. Alright, so don't use hyphens. And in fact, in any programming languages, as you can see, there is no display of anything here. In any programming languages, I always advise people, don't name your variables with hyphen. Always make sure that you put an underscore instead of hyphen in place, because you do not know sometimes the rules of the variable. Alright, what you have is whenever you have an error in JavaScript, JavaScript displays its errors on the console. So if you want something in your console, if you want to see an error, you can go to your console, you right click and inspect element. This guy pulls up, then you click on console, and what you have is unexpected token minus, and then if you pan to the right, it will show you the line on line 8 where the error is. So your console is where you see your errors in JavaScript. Alright, so if we get back to our code, we check on line 8. It's telling us that we had this, but I've changed it to an underscore. Alright, and that's the first rule in JavaScript. And let's see some of the other rules. Some of the other rules we have is that the name must begin with a letter. So you can have 1 here or plus here, you understand? And of course, names can also begin with the dollar sign, just like in PHP, or the underscore. So you can have names like this in JavaScript, but we're not going to do that in this tutorial. Then you can have the underscore just like this. All right, then names are case sensitive, so this guy and this guy are not the same. So if you change any of the cases, it changes to a different character, so a different variable. So if we have 15 here and we run this, it should say 15 plus 2, which is 17. All right, so let's test it out. We'll come here and we'll refresh. So what we have is 17. So when you're coding JavaScript, always make sure that your console is open, so that if there are any errors, you always see them. Sometimes there will be errors, but your code will appear to be running correctly. Alright, but then it will be giving you wrong values. So if you're not looking at this all the time, you might just be making mistakes. So as you can see, they are just two different variables. Alright, and if you have a multiple word that you want to use as a variable in JavaScript, it is advised you can do that. You just camel case or use underscore. This is called a camel case. So this is a sample of a camel case. So if I wanted to name Eric Smith, whatever the pronunciation of the word is, the name is something like this. So if you wanted to name Eric Smith, is like this. This is camel case, but then in JavaScript is advised you use the camel case that starts with a lower character first. So the first word in the multiple word variable that you're trying to name should start with a lowercase. All right, okay. So that's it. And in naming variables with JavaScript, of course, there are variables you shouldn't. There are some names you shouldn't call your variables in JavaScript. They are called the keywords. JavaScript came with some predefined variables, and they don't want you to name any of your variables any of those. As you can see, my code editor is already coloring some variables I should not name. As you can see, this 4 is blue, this is blue, this is blue, this is blue. So this is blue too in. So all these blue ones are the things you shouldn't name your variable. All these var, you shouldn't name your variable. And let's see, they are called reserved words. So I'll show you, I'll paste a list of reserved words that you can go through, but then memorizing them depends on, you should depend on your code editor to color them so that you can know. You can't just memorize everything at once as a beginner. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to paste this long list of reserved words. So as you can see, almost all of them are colored blue. So if you're coding and you want to name your variable and the variable automatically colors blue or colors another color depending on your code editor, text editor, you should know that, hey, I'm about to use a reserved word. So you should change it by maybe adding a number or putting whatever you want inside it. So you have these words you should not use as your variable names. You have abstract boolean, you have break, byte, case, and so on and so forth. You have export and so on and so forth. Okay, so you shouldn't use these guys as your variable names. Okay, so I'll be stopping here. In the next tutorial we'll see variable scopes in JavaScript, and then once we are done with that, then we're done with variables and we move on. All right, so remember I told you in the other tutorial, you should not fall into the temptation of saying, when are we going to start coding this? When are we going to start using web JavaScript to design websites and stuff? In this tutorial, we'll be teaching you the basics of that language. As you advance, all of a sudden your brain will start opening into ways you can really practically apply this. All right, so just be patient enough to go through these basics. Thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so that your friends who need to learn JavaScript will join in. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always go to davepartner.com and ask your questions. So Dave Partner, as you can see, davepartner.com. You select the particular category you wish to post your question. Then you click on new topic and post the question. There will be techies there to answer you. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial. Bye.